Welcome back to Real Talk English, the place where we explore ideas that spark conversation and growth, all while getting cozy with the English language. I'm Emily.
And I'm Paul. Emily, I've got a topic today that might just challenge some of our listeners' most cherished morning routines, or lack thereof.
Oh, Paul, you're piquing my interest. Are we talking about the great debate of coffee versus tea, or something even more profound? Because for many, the morning is their routine, and any deviation feels like a personal affront.
More profound, I think, and perhaps a little less caffeinated, at least at the very beginning. We're going to delve into the rather transformative and sometimes surprisingly cozy habit of waking up truly early. I'm talking about those pre-dawn hours, where the world is still hushed.
Okay, Paul, you said cozy, but my mind immediately jumped to alarm clock blaring in the pitch dark. For many, the idea of waking up before the sun feels like a punishment, a forced march into the day rather than a gentle start. Can you convince me and our listeners that there's a genuine, warm benefit to embracing those extraordinarily early hours?
Absolutely, Emily, and I completely understand that initial hesitation. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? To gain more energy and focus, you might think you need more sleep, not less, or at least not to disrupt your existing patterns. But what if I told you that those first quiet hours aren't about rushing or forcing yourself into action, but about claiming a unique slice of time, a personal sanctuary that very few others experience? It's about intentionality, about setting a gentle yet powerful tone for the entire day ahead.
A personal sanctuary? That's a lovely image, Paul. I'm imagining a quiet nook, a warm blanket, and a steaming mug, but still the alarm clock is looming large in my mind. How does one transition from dreading that early alarm to actually looking forward to that sanctuary? What's the secret sauce?
The secret, Emily, isn't in a magic trick, but in a shift of perspective and a gentle, consistent approach. It's not about immediately jumping out of bed at 5 a.m. tomorrow if you're used to 8 a.m. It's about understanding the why first. When you wake up before the demands of the world begin to clamor, before emails start pinging, before family members need attention, before the traffic picks up, you're given a rare gift: uninterrupted mental space. This isn't just about getting things done. It's about gaining clarity, about nurturing your inner world.
That makes sense. I often feel like my day starts in a reactive mode, responding to whatever comes at me. The idea of being proactive with my morning, rather than just reacting to the alarm, sounds genuinely appealing. So, what's the first major benefit you've observed or experienced from this early rising discipline? I'm genuinely curious about the tangible impact.
For me, and for many others who've embraced this, the first and most profound benefit is the sheer mental clarity and focus it provides. Think about it. The world is quiet. There are no immediate external distractions. Your phone isn't buzzing with notifications from the office. The street outside is still. This isn't just a lack of noise. It's a lack of demand. This mental stillness allows for an incredible sense of focus that's almost impossible to replicate later in the day. It's like having a clean slate for your thoughts, a blank canvas before the colors of the day start to blend.
That's a powerful analogy, a blank canvas. I can see how that would be incredibly valuable. So, what do you do with that blank canvas, that mental stillness, in those early hours? Is it about tackling the hardest work project first or something more reflective? Because I can imagine some people might feel overwhelmed by all that quiet if they're not used to it.
Excellent question, Emily, and it touches on a crucial point. It's absolutely not about immediately diving into the most stressful task. In fact, quite the opposite. This is your time. For me, I often start with a simple ritual, a warm glass of water, a few minutes of quiet breathing, or gentle stretching. Then, I might spend some time journaling, just getting thoughts out onto paper. Or I might read something inspiring, not work-related. This period isn't about productivity in the traditional sense. It's about preparation. It's about preparing your mind and spirit for the day, grounding yourself before the whirlwind begins. This intentional start can significantly reduce that feeling of being overwhelmed later.
I love the idea of preparation over immediate productivity. It shifts the pressure, doesn't it? Instead of feeling like you have to conquer the world before 7 a.m., it's more about tending to your inner garden. I've always struggled with finding consistent time for journaling, for instance. Life just seems to get in the way. But if I carve out that sacred time before anyone else is stirring, it suddenly becomes non-negotiable. It's like a secret meeting with myself.
Exactly, a secret meeting. And it's during these secret meetings that true personal growth often happens. You're not just journaling, you're reflecting, you're planning, you're aligning your actions with your values. I remember a period a few years ago when I felt incredibly scattered. My days were a blur of meetings, emails, and urgent tasks. I felt like I was constantly reacting, never truly leading my own life. I decided to try this early rising experiment, not as a productivity hack, but as a way to reclaim some mental sovereignty.
And what did you find, Paul, when you started reclaiming that sovereignty? What specific changes did you notice in your mental state or your approach to the day?
The most striking change was a profound sense of calm. Instead of waking up and immediately feeling the weight of the day's to-do list, I would wake up and feel anticipation. I'd anticipate that quiet hour, that time to simply be before doing. I started using that time to map out my top 3 priorities for the day, not in a rigid, stressful way, but in a thoughtful, intentional one. I found that by having this mental blueprint, I navigated the inevitable challenges of the day with far more grace and less anxiety. It was like I had already won a small victory before the day even truly began.
Wow. Won a small victory before the day even truly began. That's a powerful statement. It sounds like this isn't just about time management, but about emotional regulation and cultivating a sense of personal agency. So, beyond this mental clarity and emotional grounding, what's the next big benefit that you've seen unfold from this early morning practice? Because I'm sure our listeners are thinking, okay, that's great for reflection, but what about my actual goals, my big projects, my fitness aspirations?
You've hit on the second major pillar, Emily. Focused goal achievement and accelerating progress on what truly matters to you. Once you've cultivated that mental clarity and prepared your mind, those early hours become an incredibly fertile ground for deep work. This is where you can dedicate uninterrupted time to a personal project, a skill you want to learn, or even a fitness routine, without the usual daily interruptions.
So it's not just about thinking about your goals, but actively working on them? How does this early morning slot compare to, say, trying to fit in a gym session after work, or working on a passion project late at night? I've tried both, and often, by the time evening rolls around, my energy is depleted and my focus is shot.
Precisely, Emily. Your observation about depleted energy in the evening is key. In those early hours, your willpower reserves are often at their highest. You haven't yet been bombarded by decisions, distractions, or demands from others. This means you can approach a challenging task with a fresh mind and full energy. Think about it. If you want to learn a new language, practicing for 30 minutes at 6 a.m. when your brain is rested and alert is far more effective than trying to squeeze it in at 9 p.m. when you're mentally exhausted from the day. It's about leveraging your peak performance window.
That makes so much sense. I've often felt that evening efforts are often second best efforts, if I manage them at all. The thought of dedicating that prime mental real estate to something truly important to me, before the world demands my attention, is very compelling. Can you give us an example, perhaps a specific scenario, of how someone might leverage this time for a goal? Let's say someone wants to write a book, or learn to code, or even just cultivate a new hobby like painting.
Absolutely. Let's take the example of someone wanting to write a book. Imagine Sarah, who has a demanding job and 2 young children. Her dream is to write a novel, but finding quiet, focused time feels impossible. She starts waking up at 5:30 a.m. For the first 15 minutes, she has her quiet reflection time. Then she dedicates a solid 45 minutes to her manuscript. No social media, no emails, just her and the story. In those 45 minutes, she might write 500 words, or outline a chapter, or simply edit what she wrote the day before.
And over time, those 45 minutes add up, don't they? It's like compound interest for your creative goals. I can see how that consistent, dedicated slot, free from interruption, would be far more productive than trying to snatch an hour here or there later in the day, when you're constantly bracing for interruptions.
Exactly. Over weeks and months, those consistent 45-minute sessions become chapters, then sections, then a completed manuscript. It's not about huge, heroic sprints. It's about the steady, unstoppable momentum of consistent effort. The early morning becomes your personal workshop, your creative lab, where you know you'll be undisturbed. This applies equally to learning to code, practicing an instrument, or training for a marathon. You're building a habit around your most important personal goals, making them a priority by giving them your best, freshest energy.
I'm starting to see this less as a rigid, punishing routine and more as an empowering act of self-care and self-investment. It's like you're telling yourself and the world that your personal growth and dreams are important enough to claim the absolute best time of your day. But what about the inevitable resistance? The snooze button can be a powerful adversary, Paul. How do you overcome that initial inertia and build this habit with true consistency? Because that's the third pillar, isn't it? Consistency.
The mighty snooze button, the siren call of extra warmth. You've rightly identified the third critical aspect, Emily. Building unshakable consistency and understanding its ripple effect. Overcoming that initial inertia is perhaps the biggest hurdle, but it's entirely surmountable with the right approach. The key is to start small and be kind to yourself. Don't go from waking at 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. overnight. Try shifting by 15 minutes earlier each week. This gentle adjustment allows your body and mind to adapt without feeling shocked.
That's a much more approachable strategy than the cold turkey method. I can imagine trying to jump straight into 5 a.m. could lead to burnout and frustration, making you resent the whole idea. So, gradual shifts. What else helps in making it stick? Because even with small shifts, there are days when the bed just feels too good to leave.
Absolutely. And those days will happen. The crucial element is having a compelling reason to get out of bed. It goes back to that personal sanctuary idea. What exciting thing are you going to do with that quiet time? Is it that novel? That new language? A yoga session? A cup of your favorite tea while listening to a podcast? Having a clear, appealing activity waiting for you, something you genuinely look forward to, transforms the alarm from a dreaded sound into a gentle invitation. Place your alarm clock across the room, so you have to physically get out of bed to turn it off. This small action breaks the cycle of hitting snooze.
I like that. turning the alarm into an invitation. It really frames the experience differently. And the physical act of getting out of bed, even just to turn off the alarm, sounds like a clever trick to combat the inertia. What about the ripple effect you mentioned? How does consistently waking up early influence other areas of your life beyond just those first few hours?
The ripple effect is where the true magic happens, Emily. When you consistently commit to waking up early and honoring that commitment to yourself, you're not just building an early rising habit. You're cultivating self-discipline, self-trust, and a sense of mastery. This newfound discipline often spills over into other areas of your life. If you can consistently get up early to work on your passion project, you're more likely to consistently stick to your fitness goals, manage your time better at work, or even make healthier food choices.
So it's almost like a foundational habit that strengthens your willpower muscles across the board. I can see that. If you prove to yourself that you can achieve this one challenging thing, it builds confidence to tackle others. It's about proving to yourself that you are capable of consistent effort even when it's difficult.
Exactly. It's a powerful affirmation of your commitment to yourself. And beyond that, it fosters a sense of proactive control over your day. Instead of feeling like you're constantly playing catch-up, you start the day feeling ahead, feeling like you've already accomplished something meaningful. This positive momentum often carries through the entire day, making you more resilient to stress and more productive overall. I've noticed personally that when I'm consistent with my early mornings, my decision-making feels sharper, my patience is greater, and I'm generally more optimistic. It's a subtle but profound shift.
That's truly inspiring, Paul. It sounds like a holistic transformation, not just a time management hack. It begins with the intention of claiming those quiet hours, moves through the focused pursuit of personal goals, and culminates in a profound strengthening of self-discipline and overall well-being. But what if someone tries it and misses a day or two? Is the whole experiment ruined?
Absolutely not, Emily. And this is another crucial point for building consistency. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Life happens. There will be days when you don't sleep well, or you have an unexpected late night, or you simply wake up feeling unwell. On those days, be kind to yourself. Sleep in. Listen to your body. The goal isn't rigid adherence at all costs. The goal is consistent effort and a consistent return to the habit. One missed day doesn't erase weeks of progress. Just get back on track the next morning. Forgiveness and flexibility are key components of sustainable change.
That's such a relief to hear because I think for many, the fear of failure, of not being able to stick to it perfectly, is what stops them from even trying. Knowing that you can stumble and still succeed makes it feel so much more achievable. So, to recap, it's about starting small, having a compelling reason, using little tricks like placing the alarm away, and being kind to yourself when you occasionally miss a day.
Precisely. And remember, the purpose isn't to become a superhuman productivity machine. The purpose is to create more space for you, for your thoughts, your dreams, your learning, your well-being. It's about cultivating a deeper connection with yourself before the world demands your attention. It's a gift you give yourself every single day. And that gift, over time, transforms not just your mornings, but your entire life. It gives you a sense of quiet power, a feeling that you are truly in charge of your own journey.
A quiet power. I love that. It's a gentle rebellion against the constant noise and demands of modern life. It's choosing to create your own rhythm, your own sanctuary, rather than being swept up in everyone else's. I think many of our listeners, myself included, are often looking for ways to feel more in control, more intentional, and less overwhelmed. This sounds like a very tangible step towards achieving that.
It truly is, Emily, and the beauty of it is that it's a practice accessible to almost everyone. It doesn't require special equipment or expensive courses. It simply requires a decision, a commitment to yourself, and a willingness to explore what those quiet, pre-dawn hours can offer you. Imagine waking up and feeling calm, focused, and ready to tackle your most important goals, not because you have to, but because you choose to. That's the empowering promise of embracing the early morning.
I'm genuinely inspired, Paul. You've transformed my perception of waking up early from a chore to a cherished opportunity. The idea of starting the day with a sense of calm and proactive focus rather than a frantic rush is incredibly appealing. I can really see how this could lead to a ripple effect of positivity throughout the entire day, touching everything from personal projects to daily interactions. It's not just about adding more hours to your day, but adding more quality to your hours and more intentionality to your life.
Exactly that, Emily. It's about quality and intentionality. It's about reclaiming a piece of your day that can feel truly yours, a space for personal cultivation and growth. And I truly believe that once someone experiences that profound sense of peace and productivity that comes from those early hours, it becomes less of a discipline and more of a cherished ritual. It's an investment in yourself that pays dividends far beyond the morning.
Well, listeners, I think Paul has given us all some incredibly compelling reasons and some very practical, gentle steps to consider embracing the early morning. I'm certainly going to give it a try, starting with that gradual 15-minute shift. The idea of that personal sanctuary and quiet power is just too appealing to ignore. So, what will your compelling reason be? What will you create or cultivate in those precious, quiet hours?
And remember, it's not about perfection, but about consistent, kind effort. Give yourself the gift of those early hours. You might just discover a whole new rhythm for your life, one that's calmer, more focused, and deeply fulfilling. We'd love to hear your experiences if you decide to try this. Share your thoughts with us on our social media channels.
Yes, please do. Let us know how those early mornings treat you. Thank you so much, Paul, for this incredibly insightful and empowering conversation. It's certainly given me a lot to think about, and I feel genuinely excited to explore this for myself.
My pleasure, Emily. It's a journey worth taking. And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us on Real Talk English. We hope this conversation sparks something wonderful in your day, or rather, in your early morning.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and perhaps keep those alarms set just a little bit earlier. Goodbye for now.
Farewell, everyone.